Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Better Investment Academy channel here on YouTube. I want to dive straight into it, and today we're looking at H bar. And this is a cryptocurrency for those who are new to the channel. If you know me personally, if you're inside the investment group, then you know that this is my favorite cryptocurrency project outside of XRP. And I always look at it whenever I can to give an update on it because I know a lot of the people inside the group are invested into this particular asset. Now, I'm going to go ahead and dive straight into it and give my case for what I think is going to happen. I do believe that we are inside of a bear market currently. And you'll see on my screen, you'll see supply, resistance, support, and demand. And simply put, is that we can see price hasn't exactly made its way all the way down to this demand area here. So in this range here is where we're going to probably see a bounce from. Now that's right there inside that demand. I can see H bar rolling over and coming back down to around, like I said before, anywhere between 7 to 8 cent. And also too, we can look at other markets as well, and we can see some of the same things where maybe, maybe we're a little bit early to the game, so to speak, in terms of upside potential. I think that a lot of people want to see price do something extreme, and they want to see it happen, fairly quickly, I would say. You go from logarithmic to regular for this chart, so it might look a little funky. But with that being said, is that all I'm looking at for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency projects is that I think there's way more downside potential here before we really see the run up that we're looking to see. And with this year being primaries inside of America, that's when we're going to get we're going to start swapping out some of our senators, House of Representatives, and other branches of government that's not necessarily dealing with the executive branch. Like for an example, we'll get a new Fed chair, and Donald Trump, of course, might be picking someone who's more willing to cut those interest rates. Now, with that being said, make it a short video. I don't want to be all over the place with it. I want to go straight into it and helping us understand, why are we in a bear market? We're in a bear market because since here, October of 2025, we have been going down. All right. We kind of peaked out there, but we also peaked, even sooner than that. Um, we really didn't go any higher after June of 2025 on Bitcoin. We had some peaks above that, but for the most part, it's been downside. And I think we're going to go lower. Like I said, normally markets don't go higher when everybody expects them to. Normally they do the opposite of what people can expect. And if you see this trend line here, no different than the trend line I had on H bar, and I'll jump back over. It just seems as if maybe we need to come a little lower. And you can see where we broke through this first trend line here for H bar, and we're back testing that. And then you can see where I have my box here where I can see us come roll over and come down a little bit more. And, just test out the bottom part of this channel where we have another trend line kind of pick up. And the reason why I have that there is because, like I said before, I can easily see the case, and my trend line looks a little different now that I went uh from my regular chart to logarithmic, and so trying to find the best view for you to see it. But with that being said, is that either way, what we know is that it could probably roll over and come a little bit lower before it bounces and goes higher. And the thing about it is that, and I'll actually adjust this now. And so now with it being adjusted, you can see it a lot better in terms of what I was saying. It could come lower and then bounce. It needs to come down some more into this demand area. You have to understand that institutions, hedge funds, and uh, big banks, even exchanges like Coinbase and Binance, they're not going to want to buy these cryptocurrencies at the same price that the retail, customer has bought those, right? So for an example, BlackRock does not want to own XRP or HBAR or any of these tokens at the same price in which you bought it. They want to buy it at a lower price, sell it to you at a higher price. And so with that being said, is that I think this rolls over. I think it comes down. That'll flush out a lot of people. That's still another 50% down, depending on, what asset we're looking at. Like for an example, with H bar, it's about 45% down. Downside is what we can see down to 8 cent and even as low as 7 or 6 cent before we see a greater bounce. I think right now we're kind of having like some false hope. This is a little bit more of a pullback. Markets don't go straight up, they don't go straight down. So I think we're experiencing a pullback before a greater downside. And like I said before, H bar is a good example of that. We're seeing this has been clearly in a bear market where we have highs, lows, lower highs, lower lows. And even where it comes here, it still rolls over after we come, after we get here we still roll over and continue down. And so with that being said, is that we're definitely in a bear market. I think it's going to be one of the quickest ones we ever had. We definitely are in for a pump here soon. We could come down to, like I said before, that demand range, maybe stay between 10 to 7 cent for a little while, and before we really explode and come back out of there. Now, what I will say is that I don't think we stay down there long. Like I said before, primaries is this year. That's going to be coming inside November. So I would expect for us to see some pumps and dumps. In between now and November, I think it will probably roll over from where it's at. We'll probably have some good price action for Q1, which is January, February, and then March. Afterwards, I think we roll over. Summertime will come into effect. A lot more people will be looking at spending money on travel and leisure, not so much of investing. And so with that being said is of course too, the end of Q1, people pay their taxes. And so a lot of people will sell whether at a gain or a loss, and that's for big businesses and big institutions, as well as small investors and the everyday person will either sell at a gain or a loss, pay those taxes, and kind of move on from there with their investments. To kind of be done with them for that time being, and start moving money into other things like taking the family on vacation and so on and so forth. And so with that being said, I definitely see it rolling over. I definitely see us coming down lower. Like I said before, right now everybody's expecting for it to go up and do something big. And I just, anytime that happens, normally we have a dump. And so whether it's ETFs or any other exciting news around surrounding crypto, if you've been around long enough, you know that we normally dump off of that. So I definitely see us rolling over, like I said before. We are in a bear market because we just have not broken any all-time highs, not at all, actually, for a lot of altcoins, which are just tokens outside of, uh, your Bitcoin. Every other coin is an alternative option, an alternative investment, alternative coin. And so, with that being said, is that for the altcoins, none of them really, outside of Ethereum, we had Binance Coin. Zcash, and a couple others. Outside of those, we really didn't have any altcoins make all-time highs, Hedera being one of those. And so, with that being said, is that I see us rolling over, coming down into demand because demand is where people want to buy it. And who has money right now inside of a downward economy? Like, if you think about it, the economy is really messed up right now. Like, who actually has a lot of money sitting around? Only the big guys, right? Only institutions, big banks, big corporations, hedge funds, so on and so forth. And that's where the demand is at. It's showing you here on the chart, like, hey, here's where they really want to buy it, like down, down in here. Um, and I'll move this box down, like right in this area here. You'll see, right? That's another demand area where they really want to buy it. And when the price gets down low like that, it gets really explosive. So, like, for example, from this demand area of 4 cent, it exploded up 800. Oh, that's actually 900%. So it went from 4 cent there to about 40. Let me see. I might have to expand my chart here. Let's see. Yeah, so it went to about 40 cent, exactly 39 cent. And you see it peaked up a little bit over there. So it definitely, went from that's from 4 to 40, 4 cent to 40 cent is definitely, a 10x. If you had put in, just for an example, $100, you would have ended up with $1,000 for every $100 that you put in. And so, like I said before, I see us rolling over some more. These institutions still are not willing to actually hold these tokens at the prices that they're currently at. I think they need to come down a little bit more. Once they get in, once they're able to buy it at such a low price, that thing from there it goes to the moon, and it happens really quickly. So it's once it comes down inside these areas, it's not going to be an opportunity that lasts very long. So dollar cost averaging is also, always a good idea. And then keep you a bag on the side maybe for if it goes lower. And if not, then maybe it just bounces out and it just continues to go higher from where it's at. But this is what I see now. I believe that we are in a bear market. We've been in a bear market for about a year now. And we're going to come out of that bear market really, really fast. Like I said before, once price gets down into these demand zones, it will not stay there long. So, uh, you know, just really quick, I know I've been away from the channel for a while. I want to come back. I want to supply some value and make sure that I'm keeping you on track and kind of level-headed in the times and turbulence that's ahead. And with that being said, leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know what you like for me to look at moving forward, and I will revisit some more charts and make my case for why I think we're in a bear market, but we can see a lot of upside potential here soon. Thanks for tuning in once again, and I will see you guys inside the next video.
This money bring friends, so my life won't be alone. I stayed out and grind and I made it out strong. I lost some ones I love, but I had to move on. I say I moved on, but I hated that you gone. Yeah, I stayed out and grind for real. From a panoramic to a drop top, I still haven't signed a deal. I've been through terrible things, I guess still trying to heal. I dreamed the struggle was over,